Hey! Right. Oh, shite. That slipped out of my hand. Glad it didn't damage the glass. Oh, running around at the last minute. I know. That's really unlike me. But that's what's happening. I was doing a bunch of stuff just before the stream for a video. Just while I was in the mood to do it, really. So, things I want. Things I want. I want a skewer. I want an orange. I want a peeler. Where's a peeler? I can't see a peeler. Dishwasher maybe. Alright. Peeler. Jar of cherries. Okay. I think we're settled. Who's here? Megaleech, Musical Aviator, Tommy Five Tone, Alexander. Stella paid a stealth visit half an hour ago. All right. Run around. Treat myself to an old-fashioned. From the big old bottle of old-fashioned. That's a generous pour. That was a generous pour. I'm very generous with myself, really. I'm going to peel myself a bit of orange for a garnish. Because I like to do that. Let's go spritzeroo. There you go, a bit of orange oil. Makes all the difference. Hello, Justin. If I didn't say hello, Justin. A bunch of people said hello there at once. I feel like I might have missed you. Okay, so we're tooling on. I've been making stuff, tasting stuff in barrels, from barrels. Oh, non-stop wildness in the angry house. Come on. Playing. Can I stab? I got one. Can I stab a cherry when they all move around so much? Okay, you go in there, cherry. Tommy, big fan of the old-fashioned. Usually with whiskey, but this one is actually a blend of, I think, 4 whiskeys, including a rye, and 4 rums. Pretty exotic. And Mrs. Angry's been getting into the gin old-fashions, which are also very good. And yes, Justin, I did see the media reports about the Lib Senator ripping into Morrison, which is kind of hilarious because they were pretending only Labor has factional problems, which is fucking ridiculous. But yes, it's always funny to see. Oh, yep, that's good. Also, the syrups. There's more than one syrup in there. They're pretty exotic syrups that I put in there. There's one that is tamarind, cinnamon, chai, and there's a fruitier sugar syrup in there as well, I think. A couple sorts of bitters as well. So because I was making a bottle of it, you can really mix up what you put in there. If you try and put a lot of stuff like in a single serving, it's a bit fussy and a bit messing around. But if you're making a whole bottle, you can just really go to town. Which I did. Went to town. What do I think Morrison's like in private? A void, an empty fucking shell, a non-human, a complete absent. I think he's the guy who shit his pants in Engadine Macca's. He's just a kind of loser, keeps failing upwards his whole life, failed in marketing and somehow sucked the right dicks in the Liberal Party to get pre-selection for a seat that he shouldn't have been pre-selected in. He's just this vacuous turd who's always had everything go his own way, and occasionally gets so drunk he shits his pants. He's not subtle. There's not a lot to him. He's just a big old steaming bag of shit, basically. And occasionally some of it leaks out onto the floor of a McDonald's. That's what we got. He's one of the most successful fucking losers in the world. It's ridiculous. I live in hope that the LNP get absolutely pasted. You on an ice cream quest? Yes. I did the old thing of, there might be a bit in there. It's not enough for 2 people. You should just finish this off. Recently discovered this ice cream in the Woolies supermarkets comes from New Zealand. And some of they break up into 4 flavors, but you can buy them individually. It's just got this huge tub of choc chip cookie dough ice cream and just freaking plowed through it. Okay, Tommy, never liked rum. A good rum mix for your kind of taste. Tell me again where you are, Tommy, and I'll clue you in on this way. I mean, I'm very parochial with what I recommend. Yes, Justin, that is a good point. Recent state elections give reason to be careful. Okay, Tommy, you are in the US. Let me see. Okay, I'll show you my favorite sipping rum. It's just here, and I got it when it was on special. Some rum nerds poo-poo this one, but I really like this Diplomatica Reserva Ron Antiguo. I only ever got this because it was on a really significant special, but it's probably my favorite sipping rum. And I think you'd also want a white rum. Not Bacardi. Bacardi's kind of shit. Something like Plantation. That they have a white rum that most rum people say is pretty good. So I'd say, like, for a darker rum, for this, I really like this. I think you should have a white rum. Yeah, maybe get Plantation. And if you want to get exotic, oh man, where is it? There's pineapple rum from Plantation as well, actually. Their pineapple rum is pretty good. Alexander, about Morrison saying if renters want rent relief, they should buy a house. Liberal Party core ideology. The only reason you don't have the basics is because you're not trying. Completely divorced from reality. Complete lack of understanding of what ordinary people go through. A significant majority of the Labor Party are the same, not understanding what ordinary people go through. LNP are worse, and Morrison's the fucking worst. Again, the ridiculousness of saying you should buy a house. It's like, I don't even know how much deposit do they want you to have these days. It's got to the stage where, because Morrison bought a house 20 years ago, the price he paid for the house is the amount you have to fucking raise for a deposit these days. Okay, I'm on the internet, so how much deposit do you need for a home loan? I'm just looking it up. Okay, 20% is what you're supposed to have. So, Justin, they're not all necessarily born rich. I don't know. I literally don't know anything of Morrison's history because I don't care, because he's an empty fucking shell and I don't care to learn anything about him. I have no idea if he was born rich. I just know he's had a life of privilege, getting cushy jobs, failing at them, being paid a fortune to fail at them, right up to being a failure of a prime minister and being paid a lot to do that. Justin, have I ever owned a house? I did have a mortgage with my ex when we split up 20 years ago, and that all went tits up and went badly. One of those things. Of all the things that went badly and went tits up, the mortgage is probably the thing I care about the least. But that did happen. You know, built a fucking McMansion in Sunshine and had to sell it at a loss at the end of the day because of the fuckery of my ex. So, say la vie. I mean, Mrs. Angry owns an apartment. She owned the apartment she was living in when we met. Then we wanted to move in. The apartment's too small. So she rents that out while we live in a rented house. Yes. Music radio, yes. Morrison is to piece of shit. He's just garbage. He's the fucking worst. It's a little bit difficult to just really summarize what a piece of fucking shit Scott Morrison is, because he is a colossal piece of shit. He is the fucking worst. I might try this tonight, or I might save it for tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. I got this little batch of pre-mixed cocktails from Archie Rose. And their suggestion is you put them all together. Plum bramble, meringue fizz, kiwi sour, and it's a pavlova. You put them all together and it's a pavlova. I think it's going to be very sweet. Probably tart as well with the plum and the kiwi. Haven't decided yet. Might try those tonight. Might wait till tomorrow night. We'll see. We'll see where the night takes us. Not making any predictions on where the night will take us. Oh, it's yeah. I mean, was it a rumor that the date for the election will be announced this weekend? I think Anthony Green from the ABC was saying that because about the latest the election can be, so therefore the latest it can be announced. I think Anthony Green was predicting the date would get announced this weekend. Not sure. Robot Alien Assassin, hello. How are you? I've got this 1 liter jug of a cocktail I made, which I'm going to barrel age. I made the prep video just before going live. Just managed to squeeze it in. I was a minute late going live because of messing about. So Justin, your parents owned their house outright, paid for it in full. You maybe inherit it. You have to wait until inherited. Music over. Not sure if just because your target audience, one of your Facebook friends posted something about federal budget proposal having a reduction government music funding. So it goes to, yeah, the arts, man. They fucking hate the arts unless it's ballet. But there's a thumbnail. It is Transgender Visibility Day. So transgender ninjas, shit out of luck. And hello, Toby. on Facebook. Joining us from Facebook, just for variety. Talking earlier about can't go wrong with an old fashioned. Man, I'm going to be drinking a lot of old fashions. I've bought way too much fucking whiskey. Well, can you have too much whiskey? I've gone from having about 10 to 12 bottles of whiskey to having like 18. Because distilleries I liked kept releasing limited runs. I went, I need the limited run. And I got one more to come. It'll either arrive tomorrow or next week. Nice if it arrives tomorrow, then I get to taste it tomorrow night on the stream. But it's tomorrow or next week from the Starwood Distillery. Looking forward to that. But I've got to stop buying limited edition whiskies. I've got too many. Sorry, Robot Alien Assassin. The bad news. It's my lame joke. Transgender Visibility Day. So therefore, bad news for transgender ninjas who pride themselves on not being seen, but they're visible today because it's Transgender Visibility Day. Bad joke, I know. Looking for an Easter Live music performance of Baroque music. Period instruments. Wow. Exactly. One in Sydney over the entire weekend. Well, that's a very specific thing you were looking for. Minor performance in Geelong by an amateur group, which are 100. Yeah, if it's an amateurs, they're going to be on modern instruments. So I assume the period instruments are really expensive. Toby, bold call. No such thing as too much whiskey. I have a lot at the moment. And none of the bottles, you get sometimes when you collect bottles, you end up with a lot that are, oh, they're almost empty. What am I going to? None of these are almost empty. I emptied the almost empty ones. These are all half to 3/4 to almost completely full. So lots of whiskey. Anyone who visits me gets whiskey. Valves on trumpets like a 20th century pleb. Excellent. I love it. So to get the notes on the old trumpets, it's literally, it's like the tension in their lips or something. That's how they get different tones out of the trumpets that don't have valves. Musical aviator, you can illuminate me. I have the impression that's how they got different sounds out of the wind and brass instruments. Sorry, not wind, brass. So, yeah. I am going to get another bottle of gin. There's a specific bottle of gin I want to get. And I emptied 2 bottles today. So I feel like I can get another gin because I emptied 2 for my barrel-aged cocktail. So I've got a fuck ton of liqueur, although there's actually space on the liqueur trolley, but I shouldn't. Getting in one of those phases where I go, man, I bought a lot of fucking bottles. I need to calm the fuck down. Hey, Strictly Sega, how are you doing? Just in the middle of my admission that I have too many bottles of the booze. You can only see a little bit there. But you'll have seen the booze. You know how much is there. Fucking couple hundred bottles. No, it's not a couple hundred. It's 100 bottles. You've been listening to a lot of Nine Inch Nails. Big fan of Nine Inch Nails since back in the 90s. Yes, Closer, Big Man with a Gun, good one. I have to admit, I've always had a weak spot for Hurt, and I love Johnny Cash's version of Hurt as well. It's amazing how he owned it. Tell me your favorite bar before it closed. Met up with someone who's trans, didn't know at the time, found out, didn't care. Great fucking person. Excellent. Good. Excellent night out. Justin moving. I do not envy you, but I'll send all the positive vibes that it all goes well. Toby, no. Gross. Beer. Yuck. No. Never liked doing. Tricksayer. Wilgos finished investing. Oh, Inventing Anna. That's a Netflix thing. Yeah. Tripsing, an actor who's the girl in My Girl grown up in her 40s. Oh, yeah. Yep. People age. It's weird. Music about it. Yes, it's lip tension and mouth shape changes the pitch strictly in harmonic sense. There you go. I thought that was it. See, but also having you here, someone who actually knows, can validate my uneducated assumption. I think that's a fair way to put it. All right. Wow, 7 years, Justin. That's a big change. My last move was 5 years ago, and I lived in that house for 10 years. So, yeah, I can appreciate the sort of change you're about to go through. This house, it makes me wonder sometimes, like we're just signing another 1-year lease on this place. When the offspring start finishing uni, I'm assuming they want to go out and move on their own. We're just making their uni life a bit easier by, having them at home while they're at uni. But, once they're out in the world, I'm assuming they're going to want to go into their own places or shared houses or whatevs. So, I don't know, a year, 2 years? Mrs. Angry and I might move somewhere smaller. So, I was just talking about having all this whiskey. Maybe I should make another whiskey cocktail tonight. Yes. So the average whiskey cocktail has 1 to 2 ounces, 30 to 60 mils of whiskey in it. And I've got 18 bottles. So I don't know, about 15 liters. So yeah, 60 mils. That's going to make a fucking dent. Yes, Tommy, I'm aware of when I mention my offspring. It might make people think of the band The Offspring, who were quite big at one point. Strictly saying, yeah, you were on your phone. I can imagine that giving you grief trying to comment on the phone. All right, so yes, to clarify, my music over says no buttons in the 18th century trumpet, just a pipe, no moving parts or holes. It's all down to the skill of the player to get different sounds out of it. Why don't I, for a laugh, recipes by spirit on the liquor.com website, whiskey, brandy, vodka, okay, bourbon cocktails, old-fashioned variations, infused bourbon, boiler room, a wassail sour, New York sour twists, whiskey sour twists. I haven't had a whiskey sour in a while. And that sounds kind of good. A Bordeaux sour. Okay, that's intriguing. It's got a huge amount of foam. What is a Dizzy Delight? Sparkling water, bourbon, chartreuse, grapefruit juice, star anise infused honey syrup. Damn. Egg white cream. All right, so it's kind of like a Ramos Gin Fizz. You shake something and make it really foamy. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's way too difficult. The Manhattan. Man, maybe I should make a Manhattan with the port sweet vermouth mix I just got out of the barrel. One of my favorite named cocktails, the Suffering Bastard. Music over. If you've ever seen Mongolan singing, the throat singing. Aidsy can actually do that really well. Justin, the Offspring aren't paying rent at the moment because neither of them are working. When they work, they pay rent. But they contribute in other ways around the house. Robert Alien, that was the Foster's Imaginary Home for Imaginary Friends video. Yes. And I have no idea how that video is still on YouTube, even if they were only cartoon boobies. I'm surprised it hasn't been booted off YouTube. All right, so yes, the Suffering Bastard. It's a supposed hangover cure. Drink more alcohol to get rid of the hangover cure. It's whiskey, gin, lime juice, bitters, topped with ginger beer. Actually, I've got this really nice spiced orange ginger ale in there. A version of that. Ooh, man. Not necessarily tonight. I don't know that I want to make it tonight. Maybe tomorrow night. I don't know. It's just such a funny name for a cocktail. Okay. 20 bourbon cocktails to try right now. Okay. Exotic ones. A peach beer julep? No. Bourbon and berries. An old-fashioned uses homemade strawberry vanilla syrup. Oh, yeah, but that's just like an old-fashioned with a fruit syrup. I've got fruit syrup. I can make an old-fashioned with fruit syrup. I've got a great fruit syrup in the fridge. A wassail sour. Bourbon sour uses whiskey, citrus, wassail syrup. Okay, that sounds stupid. Vanilla bourbon. This is the one that inspired me to make a tamarind syrup. Vanilla, liqueur, and bourbon. I mean, maybe I should make that because I've got my homemade tamarind syrup. Strictly Sega. Happy Tree Friends. Oh, Happy Tree Friends was trippy as hell. I really enjoy things. And yes, that was the thing, Robert, and Frankie will do anything for cookies. Yes. I've got a couple of DVDs of Happy Tree Friends. It's like you get friend tripped out and watch that. Or Strictly Sega, it was, to be fair, a little bit repetitive. My favorite was Flippy, the cute little animal who was a war veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder, and something that would happen that would trigger his PTSD and make him go on a killing spree of the various silly little animals. Flippy was my favorite, just because he would flip out and kill everyone. And I feel that, quite honestly. Oh, Justin, why did I leave the last house? Because the landlord was a piece of shit and he finally pushed me one too far. Dr. Abigail, hello, good evening. Lovely to see you. And it's just as well I can see you on this day of visibility. So what's in it? Vanilla bourbon. Bourbon, vanilla liqueur, tamarind syrup. Club soda. I don't think I want to put the club soda on it. It's just like an old fashioned. Make an old fashioned with a vanilla liqueur and a tamarind syrup. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Tommy, there was a Happy Tree Friends game as well. I don't think. Oh, maybe I played it. Was it a flash game? I don't know. Robot Lasagna Cat. Is that Garfield or a joke about Garfield? I don't know. Strictly Sega. Another show besides Chappelle Show. Oh, the Mr. Hell Show. Yeah, no. I remember the Mr. Hell Show. Yes, and yeah, there was certainly a lot of Comedy Central, Adult Swim shows that were on in the 90s and noughties that were quite juvenile, but I don't know. Sometimes juvenile's okay. Is that work? Okay, that's a less good microphone, but at least it's working. What are you after?
Is there any ice cream?
There's an ice cream on a stick.
Okay.
Ooh, it's a light. I think that's a passion fruit or chocolate magnum. Ugh. Now it's saying it doesn't recognize my microphone, which is ridiculous. Oh, okay. So yeah, Robot Alien. Humorous live-action recreations of Garfield comics. Okay. Whatever, I'm guessing. Speaking of Garfield, I love there's someone put a series of strips online called Garfield minus Garfield, and it's just Garfield comics as they appear, but with Garfield removed. And so it's normally John having these neurotic conversations with himself, and it's actually hilarious. It's just like, because he's reacting to nothing. So it's like, oh, John is having a questionable mental health day, and he's not very happy with the world. But it was amazing the narrative it created when you removed Garfield from Garfield comics. It was wild. Sorry, Robert Ailey. I love that. Lasagna Cat consisted of live action reenactments of Garfield, with each reenactment followed by an absurd interlude. Like live action Garfield isn't absurd. I love it. Well, you see, that's the point. Justin, you think John was already pretty sad in Garfield, but when you take Garfield away, John is extremely neurotic, and John in the existing Garfield is pretty neurotic. But when you take Garfield out of the strip, he's a lot worse. All right, going to put my old fashioned back in the fridge. See, I don't really understand this, Robert Alien. Sorry, what did you say? The series exists to criticize the style of humor and as how do you criticize and tribute? I don't really get it. Hi, Safa, by the way. Oh my God, sorry, that one. Most of the videos are only a few minutes long, with the exception of 7/27/1978 and sex survey results, which are 1 and 5 hours long, respectively. Good Lord. Okay. I mean, admittedly, I've posted 1 hour videos, not live streams. Like I posted videos that were that long. All right, going to put something back. Right, I'm going to do an old fashioned with vanilla and tamarind syrup. Justin Garfield's still going. That doesn't surprise him. I don't know if Jim Davis is doing it or if he's basically sold it off to someone. There was also these surreal Garfield comics from a while back where it appears that Garfield has died and he's in a strange purgatory. They were very weird. Okay. All these fucking whiskeys. What's this one? Red Gum Smoked, single malt. Hardly had any of that. Let's do an in the glass old fashioned with that and vanilla. Actually, you know what I might do for fun? Italicus, which is a bergamot. So it's like Earl Grey tea. Bergamot liqueur. Tamarind syrup. I'm getting way fucking creative here. Well, actually, just a teeny bit creative. Bitters. What bitters will I put in? Like Angostura. I'll just put Angostura in. Classic. Stay classic. Don't overthink it. I just need my jigger. I forget where I put that. I put it over here. I rinsed it out because I'm a professional. Oh, our RoboCop remake. No, I don't know that one. Did I see MTV's The Head? Sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know it really well. Back in the 90s, the stickers of The Dead everywhere. Oh, I know, The Head. Okay. Good question, Tommy. I have not seen our RoboCop remake. How does one see it? In what sense does it exist? Nice, satisfying pop. Bit of this incredibly robust whiskey. Smoky, smoked with red gum. A bit of syrup, which features tamarind quite prominently. That tangy Southeast Asian fruit. Italicus, just going very left field. Italian bergamot liqueur. And Safa, yes, I have a date night on Saturday. So there won't be a stream on Saturday because I will be out socializing. Okay, I know. Okay, that's weird. Saying Craig McCracken, creator of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, based Frankie Foster around his wife, or at least his fantasies about her. Okay, it's a bit weird, honestly. Justin, look up what Garfield strip has been playing on any given day. Go back to when it started, so you can go by historic day. But out what Garfield strip was playing that day. You could. I don't see a lot of value in doing that, but you could definitely do that. Oh, so Abigail, that RoboCop remake is a remake of RoboCop, but every scene's made by a different fan in their own style. Sometimes puppet, sometimes animated, sometimes interpretive dance. It's hilarious. Oh, okay. So if you're in your local Woolies, about half the people wearing masks. Yep, that is what I have discovered going to supermarkets. I forget what the rules are. I don't think you have to wear masks in the supermarket anymore. But you know what? I've got to admit, the one that fucking does my head in more than people who don't wear masks in enclosed spaces is like people who wear masks in an environment where masks aren't mandated and they don't fucking wear them properly. Like it's down here. It's like, motherfucker, just take it off, okay? If you aren't going to wear it properly, fucking take it off. Just fucking take it off, for fuck's sake. And Safi, I do it as well. Justin, you're saying 60,000 cases. Is that nationally for Australia or is that in a state? I stopped paying attention to that because it's too fucking depressing. And we've just got all the governments just pretending it's not happening when this could easily be the worst year of the pandemic yet. Yes. Alexander, the chin bra. What the fuck is that? Oh, nice. Tommy wearing a Jason COVID mask. I like it. I always wanted to get a novelty one with like a monster face. Actually, what I really wanted was one that had printed really legibly it goes over your nose because I was so fucking frustrated with it's so frustrating. Man, that's good. Wow, the fucking tamarind really comes through. Good job, tamarind. That's a really robust whiskey that you're holding your own with. I think if I were to make a tamarind syrup again, tamarind would be a smaller part of it. I think there would be more sugar in it. Maybe brown sugar, so it's still like a robust flavor. But I think, yeah, I think there would be less tamarind, more sugar. Oh, Justin, you got a Biden Harris mask. It's not something I'd wear. Plastic over the mask makes you feel safer. Yeah, all right. Makes you feel better. You were abused by an anti-masker the other day. Apparently, you're a Nazi, part of the global conspiracy. If that ever happened to me, I don't know what I'd do. I think I would have a very, very hard time not losing my shit at someone who would do that. Yeah, yes, Robot Island. That would be another one. The Hannibal Lecter mask. That would be a good one. It's not asking him to wear himself. Yeah, no, I would have a very hard time. I obviously, if you're at work, you can't do it. But if I was in public and one of these fuckwits caused a scene, I would have a real problem not making an even bigger scene. So Shuki Sega, puppet getting this stuffing shot out of it in the Robocop parody. See, we like it. Okay, yep, you're into it. Okay. Man, okay. I made this really sweet. And that's what. Oh, and the smoke still comes through though. Red gum smoked single malt whiskey. It's not like a peated Scotch. Well, it's not a million miles removed from a peated Scotch, but it's a different type of smoke. Justin, you're surprised it hasn't happened to you, given your political views printed on your mask, but yeah, you are in Canberra. One of Hannibal Lecter's masks is a samurai mask. Yeah, it's interesting what they repurpose in movies sometimes. Like, famously, the Michael Myers mask in Halloween was a William Shatner Star Trek mask that they sprayed white. Sorry. Okay, that's pretty good. You're like scene 27 where Robocop shoots the penis off 100 rapists instead of the one from the original. That's sending the message home. So for when do I usually have dinner? Usually, if like when working from home between 6 and 7. Back in the before times when I'd be in an office, it would often be later. Usually before 8 though. Tonight I had it before 6 because Young is Angry had something online with their friends starting at 6. We had chicken Thursday nights, our takeaway night, and I went out and got chicken and chips. Rotisserie chicken and chips. It was fucking great. There's a place just up the road, does it really well. I went out at about 5 and got it. So I had dinner at about 5:30, and it was good. Bought a whole chicken, even though it was only the two of us having it, because that means tomorrow, chicken sandwiches. Leftovers. I fucking love leftovers. Hannibal Lecter's a socialist for a whole list of reasons, including hierarchy and eating people. That's another reason. Saf, I've not eaten KFC for ages. KFC, broadly, shit. If I'm getting takeaway chicken, I'm getting it from like an independent local place. Like, actually, KFC used to do rotisserie chicken. Okay. Also, fun fact, which I know I've mentioned on the stream before. I worked for the big three in my youth. I worked at McDonald's, KFC, and Pizza Hut. KFC, by a country mile, the worst. Worst place to work, worst quality food, worse for the public. Pizza Hut was the best. Pizza Hut was, I don't know if this is a coincidence or what, Pizza Hut was the best place to work and certainly had the best quality food. Like we used fresh vegetables, basically. And McDonald's was mid-tier. McDonald's was kind of shit, but tolerable. KFC, the fucking worst. Oh, Strictly Sega, you remember that one? Upcharging. Yes, true story that I did in a video when I was living in Ashfield in Sydney. Counter staff that was just terrible and racist as fuck. Robot, why did you get the rapist the leather jacket? Yeah, no, I actually agree with you on that. Oh my God, Gorbachev with his bloody counter-revolutionary capitalist bullshit doing ads for Pizza Hut. Yes. Although, mind you, I don't know if anyone saw it a couple of years ago. John Oliver went to Russia and managed to wangle an interview with Gorbachev, and it's because Gorbachev didn't know he was from a comedy show, and there was this period where Gorbachev's patience clearly were out, and the look, Gorbachev just does these dead face, dead eye things, and you could see John Oliver being worried because it pretty much looked like Gorbachev was thinking of having him killed, and Gorbachev was giving off the vibe of someone who could fucking have you killed. So that was weird. I don't know, Robert Allen. What did you say about eating cookies? I'm not Tim Smith yet, but you know. We're at that stage. Okay, almost at the halfway mark. This was a controlled one. My first old-fashioned was probably a double. But this one I measured, so it's controlled. I'm still kind of thinking like maybe I'll make myself a suffering bastard. Ginger rabbit. What's in a ginger rabbit? Chai flavored, star anise, black tea infused simple syrup, fresh ginger, creme yvette, a Normandy old fashioned, coconut infused bourbon, spiced almond demerara syrup. A lot of these are old fashioned riffs. A black de mer, fruity bourbon sour. Ooh, I just got some new creme de mer. I can't take that seriously. MURE, which I think is the French word for blackberry. Whenever I see a creme de mer, I always mean creme de mer. Okay, so whiskey, creme de mer, Cointreau, lemon juice, simple syrup. Oof, and I've got my new not Cointreau, a blood orange hibiscus curacao. I could make that with. Oh. Okay, you're talking about cookie eating fantasies. Grace. I don't want to yuck anyone else's yum, but my word, there are some interesting fetishes out there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Safa, no. No one could outdrink Boris Yeltsin, including Boris Yeltsin. He fucking killed himself with his alcohol intake. Oh, yes. No, strictly Sega, that was a thing that happened in all-you-can-eat places. People would eat to the point and they'd run into the toilets and throw up, and they'd come out and eat more. Yep. So, interestingly, most places that did all you can eat didn't lose money because they attracted more people in, and most people overestimate how much they can eat. You do get a small number of people who behave quite stupidly, but most people overestimate how much they can eat, and they don't really cost the place extra. But yeah, the outliers, and it's usually young men. And again, particularly Strictly Sacred said, the ones who would eat to the point they make themselves literally sick, and they run into the toilets and throw up, and then come out and eat more. They're the problem children. I'm getting super tempted to make another drink. I'm also thinking maybe I shouldn't. Safa, it was never my job to throw anyone out. But I do remember that one time we actually had a staff member die, not at work, but yeah, the day after everyone found out, everyone was upset. And there was a booth of young men who were being particularly difficult and obnoxious, and our young lady who was serving them was having a lot of trouble dealing with it. And another of our staff members, she was quite butch. I never really asked her about sexuality or anything like that because I didn't care. She was just a great person to work with. And I was thinking I maybe need to go out and sort those guys out. And she went, let me. And she just went out, and they went around, and she just basically said, you need to keep it down. This is unacceptable. And one guy started to get up to be threatening, and she put a hand on his shoulder and shoved him back down into his seat and went, you're being quiet or you're getting out. And at that point, they went, oh, wait, she's actually really quite strong. And she seems to actually want, because they were drunk and she was sober. And they're like, oh, I think she actually wants to fuck us up. Okay, maybe we'll be quiet. I say, Dr. Abigail says the our Robocop remake is on Vimeo. They released it free as a middle finger to the Hollywood remake machine, which is fun. Yeah, Safa, back in the day, I don't know if they still do. When I worked there, they definitely served alcohol at pizza, just beer and maybe wine. And I do remember earlier you asked me how much things cost. Dude, I have no fucking idea. You're asking me to remember something from 30 years ago. I have hard enough time remembering shit from last week. I do not remember, not even close to remembering, the prices at Pizza Hut 30 years ago when I worked there. In fact, I had a manager who got in trouble. Notu, he just popped in. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. And now I'll say goodbye. And yes, you're right, Dr. Abigail. Most Pizza Huts are takeaway only now. It stopped being economical for them to be eat-in places. I think there are one or two, but they're pretty rare. I used to go to Pizza Hut now and then. Oh God, what was the smorgasbord one? Like, not completely unlike Pizza Hut. The steak one, Sizzlers. I fucking loved Sizzlers. I really fucking loved Sizzlers. Not the steak. I wouldn't order steak. I would order other shit. But I love the cheese bread at I fucking loved Sizzler, basically. Very sad that Sizzler stopped being a thing. And yes, strictly Sega, I don't think there's much to differentiate Pizza Hut and Domino's now. But we can all miss things from the past. There's me. I'm missing sizzlers. Oh my God, Smorgies. I went to Smorgies a couple times. Oh shit, Micro, are you late for work? Your alarm didn't go off? Oh no. Oh no. I hope you're not getting into shit at work. Tommy, Pizza Hut. Yes. Well, Godfathers got outed as a front for the mafia. It was literally a money laundering front for organized crime. Fucking hilarious in my mind. That's why Godfathers again, they even went there with the name. They were a front for the mob. They were a front for the Calabrian mob in Australia, and they were money laundering. Robert Alien, I'm unaware of Disney's private members club. So, Alexander, you made sure to visit the last one in New South Wales. The cheese bread fucking rocks. You can get a decent cheese bread in some supermarkets, actually. Oh yeah, no, Eagle Boys exists over here, strictly Sega. Most of the time, not always, sometimes I go to chains or small chains. Most of the time, if I'm getting a pizza here, it's from an independent place. But sometimes it's from a chain or from a very small chain. Sometimes you get people who've got between 2 and 6 outlets. I'm not being a snob, it's just what's around, basically. Oh shit, Safa. That's another good one. Hog's Breath. I've not been. I think Hog's Breath is still around. I haven't been there for ages. Oh yeah, strictly Sega Pizza Haven. There was a chain of things called Pizza Haven. Safa, Lazy Moe's does not sound familiar. Robo Assassin. In Club 33, they serve alcohol. Unlike other restaurants in Disneyland. I had some friends from America posting stuff. Disney's new Star Wars themed resort that looks really over the top, and they have a bunch of Star Wars themed cocktails as well. But it's like the whole thing is decked out to look like the interior of a ship from Star Wars, and the staff are dressed up like characters from Star Wars themed cocktails. Looks like fun, you know, fucking holidays for nerds, man. Strictly Sega, you don't think you'd go to Disney to drink? Yeah. And yes, that was what they told me. The Star Wars hotel's $5,000 or $6,000 US dollars. It's a big fucking deal. Well, Robert Allen, given I don't know what a payday gang is, yeah, do it. I don't know what it is. You had the chance to see Aurora Borealis last night. Forgot. Past after. Oh no. Oh no. Oh well. Another time. Hellion, hello, Kirsten. Are you still on holidays, or you're back in Sydney now? I feel sure I had something to ask you, actually. Oh no, I just remembered because Mrs. Angry and I are going to go away for a weekend to take advantage of one of these government things like, yeah, go away for a weekend and we'll give you $200 back. I was going to ask where is a good distillery in rural Victoria to visit, but we found one and picked one, and it's done. It's a done deal. But one night only in Sydney. You are the jet setter. You are. I was just making an old-fashioned variation with my Archie Rose Red Gum Smoked Single Malt. I have bought so many of these fucking limited edition whiskies. I need to stop doing it. There's a Starward one that came out this week that I ordered. Okay. So what did I get? No, Kirsten. I got all of it. I got the Red Gum Single Malt. I got the rum finished one the other day. That just arrived the other day. And I also got, what's the other one? Whiskey Gone Awry. Whiskey Gone Awry. And also, locally in Melbourne, The Gospel released another single barrel rye, which was fucking good. Oh, nice. You're coming to Melbourne for the whiskey show. Nice. Yeah, so everyone's been doing limited edition whiskeys, and I kept buying them. And Starwood released one this week, and I ordered that too. They're very robust whiskies. I've got all these whiskies here that are just really good. Even the American ones I've got. The Texas single malt. I got a California bourbon of all things, and I've got all these very robust whiskies at the moment. Yes, Aurora Borealis requires a steamed hams reference. This time of year, at this latitude, located entirely in this chat room. Can I see it? We are going to Timboon. That was just really arbitrary. I was just looking around and it's like, we're going to drive there for a couple of hours. Nice area to spend a weekend. So we are going to the Timboon Whiskey Distillery on our weekend away. Completely arbitrary choice, that one. So yeah, maybe do something. Ooh, one you haven't been to. Okay. All right. So because you haven't been there, Kirsten, I'll do a tasting flight while I'm there. Yes. Oh, there is all sorts of yummy food in that general area. So for you, Kirsten, seeing you haven't been to Timboon, I'll do a tasting flight. Because they do a thing like, you pay X for a tasting flight, but it's free if you buy a bottle. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm buying a bottle. I'll do a tasting flight, decide which one I like the most, and I'll be buying that bottle. But I'll give you a review. Robert Alien, you want more socialist than anarchist riots? Okay, clubs. Okay, I kind of get it. It's kind of like at Burning Man a couple of years ago. There was this super bougie tent that rich people and celebrities had set up so they could be at Burning Man, but be in all this comfort and whatnot. And the hoi polloi of Burning Man invaded their tent, which I thought was right on. Holy shit, I love that, Kirsten. You did 23 distilleries and 20 wineries in South Australia. Legend. Absolute legend. I love it. Just really, I mean, it's a Thursday night. Tomorrow's Friday. Who the fuck expects me to work on Friday? I mean, my boss. My boss expects me to work on Friday. And I do have some shit to do tomorrow. But I'm at home and it's just me doing it at my own pace. So have another drink. Okay, Abigail took Will to the psych. Fucked up your budget after the Medicare rebate. Will's on real. Okay. Well. Okay. As soon as you say, I think tech support, fun, and by fun I mean horrific thing that's happened with my PC. You know that problem of when I'm trying to put stuff from a memory card into the computer via a USB card reader. The problem where it won't do it started happening again. But here's the fun fact: it's an intermittent fault. Sometimes I plug in my card reader and it goes, oh, there's some files you want. Let's do that. And I go, oh, cool. Then I take it out and put another card in and it just goes, no, that's not a thing. I can't read it. Intermittent faults. the bane, the absolute fucking bane of IT. When something isn't consistently going wrong, it's redonkulous. But anyway, but yes. So we'll talk about mutual help, Dr. Abigail, don't you worry. So if a life's too short to safely remove USB drives, although that may be causing my problem, to be honest. I may be my own worst enemy here. Fool to myself. Robert Allen, hoping you can put some bricks. That's very Fight Club of you. I mean, I get the idea of bougie people sucking and whatnot. It's just a few other places that are maybe higher up the list of what should be targeted. Wait, what was this myrrh cocktail? Whiskey, myrrh, and lemon juice and simple syrup. And I can't even be bothered to shake that. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna fucking do that in a glass. I'll just get one of my other whiskeys of the fucking 8. I'm up to like 18 fucking whiskeys. It's ridiculous. I'm out of control. As you can say, yes, you may be right. Might have been this in American. So, Mrs. Angry and I were debating that, and we're not real keen on being in the room. Oh, there you go, Dr. Abigail. Kirsten needs a 3D printed thing. My favorite is, again, at some point, I have to do a whole video on. Oh, I'll do it, actually, Dr. Abigail. When the Etsy store is ready, that's when I will do a video with those funnels you 3D printed me. I will do and my reach is minimal, but might get a few people. I'll do some layered cocktails in a video. Not cocktails, shots, layered shots. For a video and put a link to your Etsy for that. All right, so gotta get a couple of things. Gotta decide what whiskey out of all goddamn whiskeys. Honestly, I might do the tiny bear because, oh man, it's the closest to running out, and it's not as aggressive as some of the others. So, tiny bear single malt. Creme de mer. Where's creme de mer? I had creme de mer. I only got it the other day. Where did I put it? Well, I so easily confused. But I am so easily confused. Is it here? Is it there? Is it anywhere? Where did I put my creme de mer? There it is. Creme de mer. Und also my nose Curacao und a Zuckersyrup. I'm going to put tamarind in because it's too spicy. Ooh, maybe Dr. Abigail's strawberry syrup, actually. Yeah. Dr. Abigail made me a yummy strawberry syrup. I'm going to use that. What else am I meant to put in? Black de mer. Lemon juice. Lemon juice is here, I think. Yep. That's my lemon juice. Okay. So, syrup. Just, okay. Ooh, holy cow. It's been in the fridge a while. Okay. It's fermenting. I'm down with that. Get a little bit of the syrup. Supposed to shake this, but I ain't gonna. Oh, I haven't broken the seal on the creme de mure. Okay. That was less troublesome than I thought it might be. ASMR. Quarter ounce of creme de mure. All right. Quarter ounce of orange liqueur. Orange liqueur. Ooh, big old 2 ounces of whiskey. Anger's getting drunk. Gonna be at least half Tim Smithed by the end of this. And that's probably all the alcohol I'll drink tonight. I'm not even driving. It's just I'm not a piece of shit. All right. And some lemon juice. We'll put that in last. Rinse all the liqueurs and alcohols out of the jigger with some lemon juice. I'll just stir that. You're supposed to shake it, but needs must when the devil drives. Oops. Cherry came off. There we go. All righty. Well, that's all done. Oh, yeah, Strictly Sega. That we were talking about it before. Morrison's such a fucking piece of shit. I was about to say, Alexander. This is a dad joke. Where do Sith Lords go shopping? The Darth Maul. Ah! All righty. It's a very red drink, isn't it? Wow. Mm. Man, my taste for acidic things like lemon and lime juice, my tolerance for that has gone down. I used to really like a sour. I'm going to put a little bit more liqueur in this. Mixy. A little bit more ASMR, that time ice clinking. And yes, Sappho, with Parliament finished, Morrison hasn't called the action. Anthony Green thinks he's going to do it this weekend. Who knows? I do get a little bit of joy imagining Scott Morrison late at night, alone in bed, thinking about the likelihood that he will get fucking smashed at the next election and the humiliation that entails. No, Megaleech, you were a COVID contact. Oh, damn. Yeah. Ah, Tommy, you've been making steamed hams. Why not? How did hackers are just clever, man. How did they get into the building? Oh, it's a joke. They'd use the back door. Yes, okay, got it. Yeah, so for one of the dozens of reasons I want the LNP out is because they've just been doing stupid shit with. Although Labor's too scared to speak out against it, but they've been doing stupid shit like, we should have Space Force. We should have nuclear submarines. It's like, why do you want to waste billions of dollars, you fucking steaming piles of garbage? Okay, that's much better with the bit of extra curacao I threw in there. It doesn't taste like whiskey now, which is weird, because 2 ounces of a single malt, I think is 50%. Yeah. Ooh, Kirsten, technical question for you. I'm glad I remembered it because I've been trying to remember to ask this for ages. With my barrels, I've got barrels over there. I've got a third barrel, and when I bought that, I decided to also buy a new make spirit from the same people, which is of course the age. And so I'm going to age it, not straight away. I haven't started yet, but in a while. Where is it? I'm going to find the bottle. It's hiding up here somewhere. Oh, okay. Dun, dun, dun. White Possum, single malt, new make spirit, 60%. Okay, so this is a 700 ml bottle of new make single malt, 60%. So my intention with the new barrels, first thing I do, season them with port. In fact, at the moment it's port and a sweet vermouth mix, which I leave sit in the barrel for 2 weeks, which I've just finished on this barrel. Then I age a cocktail in the barrel for about 4 weeks, and then I age something else. So the first one that reached that stage, like finished with the cocktail, it's now got whiskey in it. I've got Maker's Mark in it. So the next 2 experiments I'm going to do is vodka aging in one of my barrels and single malt new make spirit. Now, because it's 60%, what I was going to ask you is advice on, should I just age it at that, or I'm basically finishing in a barrel. I'm not really aging it the way you would with a whiskey, for a couple of months at that strength, or how is what, for instance, like when you're distilling and bringing something down to about 40%, which is the standard strength for spirits, is the water added after it comes out in the barrel? So like if I wanted to do, so I guess I've got 3 choices. Just age that at 60% in the barrel and take it out, or add water to it in the barrel so it's slightly diluted in the barrel to maybe under 50%, or age it, finish it at that strength in the barrel and add some water after I take it out of the barrel. Which of these is the most appropriate? Yeah, so okay, so barrel it at that strength. So if I want to dilute it, I do that after it comes out of the barrel. Is that what we're saying? Add water after aging. Okay. See, this is why I like having knowledgeable people in the stream. Okay, now I know the answer. So I age it at that strength and then maybe taste it. And if I think it needs to be diluted, I add water after it comes out of the barrel. Nice. Tommy, I agree with you. So I saw a robot alien saying all capitalists are crime lords. And Tommy's saying not all, but most of the power. I think it depends what you define a capitalist as. Whether it's is someone who is actively taking part in and enthusiastically supporting the capitalist state, are they a capitalist? Or, and because I've seen people use both definitions, some people mean literally only the ruling class are capitalists. The rest of us exist in a capital system, but aren't capitalists. So it depends, I guess, on your personal definition. Tempted to add more whiskey to that, but I won't. No more alcohol. Well, okay. Still got half the drink, but That's my last alcoholic beverage for tonight. If it was Friday night, that would be different. If I can go right off on a Friday night. But we shall see. So I've got two really nice red syrups at the moment. This strawberry syrup that Dr. Abigail made for me, and this one that I made myself. This is made from lily pillies or ryeberries, which are an Australian native, which grows in my yard. And that's really interesting. Well, if anyone was on the stream the other night, you were there where I was actually hulling the lily pillies, cutting them in half and taking the seed out. They're very red, and so I covered them in sugar for about a day, and the sugar, like super liquefied, just absorbed all the juice out of the lily pilly. And then I stewed it on the stove, put it on heat on the stove for a while, and that really drew the color out, which made it this really nice color. And the lily pilly syrup, it's got like a light cherry flavor, also a little bit floral. Oh, so strictly saying your Sunday CC with soda and lime. Is that Canadian Club with soda and lime? Missing something? I reckon what you're missing is bitters. Bitters is the magic fucking ingredient, man. And I mean also in non-alcoholic beverages. There are a whole range of non-alcoholic beverages that really benefit from a couple of shakes of bitters. Bitters is fucking magic. Bitters is to beverages what spices are to cooking. It's not the main event, but can really accentuate the main event. So, and also apply spices, you don't necessarily want to overdo it. But yeah, I assume that's what CC with soda and lime is, Canadian Club soda and lime. I would leap straight to what's missing is bitters. Even if, okay, the world's most ubiquitous bitters, Angostura. This is fucking great. When you look into it, there are hundreds of bitters on the market. There are all these independent bitters makers. There are hundreds, possibly thousands available around the world, but definitely bitters. Tommy, a hot Dr. Pepper tastes like hot sweet pea. Man, that's pretty wild. You feel dirty saying you're drinking premies. Nah. Oh, strictly Sega. Start with a little in terms of bitters, and add more for like I'd put like 2 dashes of bitters, and see how that tastes. If you think it's improved it, but it needs more, then put some more in. But I'd start mild. Start with about 2 dashes and taste it. I think bitters in beverages is amazing. Balances other flavors beautifully. Like even just like Pepsi. My Pepsi Max, I always add something to it. Honestly, usually it's fresh citrus, lemon or lime juice, a squirt. I have some new lemon and lime I got from the supermarket. I have to juice these tomorrow, lemons and limes, for cocktails and just for non-alcoholic beverages. Like my Pepsi Max with a squirt of lemon or lime juice is, and also bitters. A couple dashes of bitters in cola. Or you make one of the most popular drinks in Australia, lemon, lime, and bitters, which qualifies as a non-alcoholic drink, even though bitters is alcoholic. Like this is about 40% alcohol, 44.7% alcohol, but you only put a few dashes in. So in a whole drink, that doesn't really register as alcoholic, even though technically there's some alcohol in there. Just the reading is so close, so low, it doesn't really qualify as an alcoholic beverage. yeah, lemon, lime, and bitters in Australia. Everyone has their own little twist on it. But the simplest version is lemon and or lime juice, soda or lemonade, and bitters. And it's fucking great. Safa, you could have 10 lemon, lime, and bitters in a night, and unless the bartender was a madman, it's not going to register in a blood alcohol test. Is lemon, lime, and bitters an English? I don't know where lemon, lime, and bitters was first invented, but it's probably most popular in Australia. In Australia, it qualifies as a non-alcoholic beverage because you just, if it's made properly, you're just having a tiny amount of bitters in it. Safa, it's look, okay. I mean, how many of them are going to drink? Like, okay, I don't know how sensitive blood alcohol measuring things are. But I mean, literally, in a properly made lemon, lime, and bitters, it's literally just a couple of dashes of bitters. It doesn't fucking register. Tommy, Shaun of the Dead. I think Shaun of the Dead is hilarious. I think Shaun of the Dead is very funny and also very moving at different points. Nice. See, I told you that was what was missing. Strictly Sega. Yes, bitters. Bitters makes everything better. Bitters is fucking amazing. Like I said, I put it in cola, like just like Pepsi, Pepsi Max. Some bitters in there. It's fucking great. Yeah. Okay. So you did 2 drops, little stir, 1000% better. Yeah. No, bitters is fucking magic. Bitters is amazing. It's great. It's incredible what it does. And again, with bitters, a little bit goes a long way. Mind you, bartenders being bartenders, there are a couple of drinks out there that are all bitters. Notoriously, a lot of them have dad puns with Trinidad in it because Angostura bitters traditionally comes from, it's a product of Trinidad and Tobago. There's one that has 2 ounces of Angostura bitters in it. It's called the You're Not My Real Trinidad. And there's another one with the same, it's just called a Trinidad Sour. And they're pretty intense. When you put that much bitters in a drink, it's pretty intense. Yes, strictly saying the Cornetto trilogy is pretty good. Hot Fuzz, also funny. I think the last of the Cornetto trilogy is the weakest, World's End. It's still pretty good, but it's just because Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz was so good, it just doesn't quite get there. Oh my God. Titanic was released 25 years ago. That makes sense. Okay. Tommy, bitters. Okay. This is bitters. This is a traditional thing. People have been making versions of this for 150, 200 years. They were marketed in certainly in the late 19th century as medicinal tonics. Basically, there's a whole bunch of herbs and like cooking spices, and they're steeped in quite strong alcohol, and really strong alcohol just draws the flavors out of the herbs and spices. And so you get this tincture that has an incredibly strong flavor, and you put just a small amount of it in a beverage, and you get a very strong flavor. So bitters were originally marketed as like medicinal tonics. The two, okay, by far, the biggest name in bitters in the world is Angostura bitters. Second biggest is one called Peychaud. It's known as Creole bitters. Queen Kirsten, do I know why the label Angostura doesn't fit the bottle? If you see this here, you see the label's too big for the bottles. The folklore says two brothers were running the company, and they were going to market their Angostura bitters. And one brother was responsible for buying the bottles that it was going to be put in, and one brother was responsible for getting the labels made. And they didn't talk to each other. And the brother that was making the labels made labels that were too big for the bottles. So it looks like this. And it was like a terrible mistake and embarrassing, but it became their thing. That's how you knew Angostura bitters, because it's made with this label that's too big for the bottles. Kirsten, do you agree? Is that the story? That's the story that I've heard. Strictly Sagi used to work in Main Bar Marvel Stadium back when it was Telstra Dome. Granny's, bitters. Yeah. Like when I was not drinking alcohol at all, I'd go with people and I'd have a lemon, lime, and bitters. Most guys in pubs, most bartenders would do it right, but I was occasionally on somewhere and say, "Can I get a lemon, lime, bitters?" And they go, "Okay," and they'd get the glass and they'd just be going shika, and they'd like cordial. There was like this much bitters, and I was like, what are you doing? Because that was an alcoholic beverage at that point. They were putting half an ounce to an ounce of something that's 40% alcohol in there. And I was like, what do you do? One time, this guy freaked me out because he was just putting it like it was cordial in the bottom. I was like, what are you doing? He's going, what's going on? And I said, okay. It was like, tip the glass upside down. Just tip it out. He goes, what? Just do it. Tip it out. And I go, and he goes, okay. You see how much is stuck to the glass? He goes, yeah. That's how much bitters you should put in. So yeah, normally a couple of dashes. This guy, he was just fucking going to, and again, bitters is A, an extremely strong flavor. B, is actually quite alcoholic. So this guy was like doing, it's like, there was that much in the bottom of the glass. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing? And he was quite affronted. It was like, dude, no, tip it out. And he's like, ugh. And I go, see how it's stuck to the glass? That's how much bitters should be in the bottom there. Yes, Kirsten, that's why it's important for marketing to talk to operations. Oh, man. Basketball Diaries. Yeah, they wouldn't make that now. Basketball Diaries involves a school shooting, and it was made before school shootings were so regular and so horrific. They would not make Basketball Diaries now because it seemed as too sympathetic to the school shooter. Safa Bitters has a really strong taste. Tommy, saying goodbye to the hub. What was the hub? What's the hub that closed down? And yes, strictly saying, yeah, school shooting fantasy. Yeah, it's pretty intense. And again, it was made so long ago that school shootings weren't quite as ubiquitous or horrific. Kind of like you probably couldn't make Heathers today because of the nihilistic elements of it. So George Abigail, you worked in a cafe, one of the learning experiences, coffee came, asked you for a cappuccino. Okay. Learning experience, was it? Okay. Yeah, so I've got a dozen variations of bitters down there because I'm a wanker. I mean, honestly, one of the funniest things I had, and this was a while back,
a friend was talking about, I went to this bar and it's fine. They're kind of try hard because they had 6 different sorts of bitters. Who needs that many sorts of bitters? I went, I have more bitters than that at home. And they're just thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I have about a dozen different bitters in my collection. No, actually, no, listen to me. I've got Angostura, chocolate bitters, orange bitters. That's just what's out here. And I'll go down here. What have I got? Bitters. I have. Okay, so I've got 2 different sorts of Peychaud's bitters. I've got cola bitters. I've got tiki bitters. I've got Negroni bitters. I've got cranberry bitters. I've got lime bitters. I've got ryeberry bitters. I've got Chinese spice bitters. What else? Okay, what's this? Filthy Dirty Cocktail Spice. Technically, not bitters. That's for making dirty martinis. Oof. So the coffee rep gave you a bunch of tips for making coffee. Okay, nice. Alexander, you introduced the other half's parents to the lights of bitters. They were bartenders in the 80s, never heard of it. Okay, that's sad. Oh shit. Yeah, no, some of my favorite places closed down because of COVID, man. It's fucking tragic. So we could say, yeah, flicking through movies, The Crush with Alicia Silverstone. I vaguely remember it. So talking about scroll comment about. Oh yes, okay, yeah. You were saying the Titanic is a secret lesbian movie. Did actually see that. And there's a cracked article on much better movie hiding in Titanic. Cracked, the website used to be really good, and they got killed when Facebook lied to everyone and said you can make lots of money making video, and Facebook were just straight up fucking lying, and Cracked spent all their money on making videos and killed the site, basically. Okay, left field, good question. Safa, should Dan Andrews have provided more business support? What state and federal governments should have done together is pay people to stay at home. We did an extremely good job in the first year of the pandemic. We could have done it better, just to everyone. And I just mean anyone who's running a business is like, oh, okay, your business needs to be closed for 6 months. We need to pay you to have your business closed, because it's a better use of tax money than almost anything else. Basically, everyone should have been paid to stay home for at least 6 months. That's ridiculous. Abigail thought it was pertinent, giving the theory Jack would be trans. Okay. And yes, Kirsten, Robert Evans, who now is my favorite second favorite podcaster, does Behind the Bastards. He got his start on Cracked. And you will occasionally hear him and the others, like the pair from Even More News, talk about their days in Cracked and how it was killed by Facebook. Tommy, raise a glass of what we like for our favorite drinking places no longer here. What's yours? And food places and just any business you liked that whatevs. Of the places that I used to go that closed because of COVID, biggest one was probably a Peruvian pisco place. Did really nice Peruvian food and a lot of drinks based on pisco, which is Peru's national drink. That's probably my favorite one that closed permanently. Very sad. So you say, oh, well, no. Again, that I've never watched that entire film with Robin Williams. But for me, that really trivialized. There's an actual genetic disorder that makes people age really fast. And what I saw of that Robin Williams film really trivialized that. I was not a fan. Oh, there you go. Your stepdad's plumbing didn't have to shut down. Well, that's good. And Robert Alien, I tend to agree QAnon may be the stupidest conspiracy theory, which is a real challenge. I've actually watched that movie. Apparently, it was a pretty successful novel, The Time Traveler's Wife, and Eric Bana was in it. My memory of it is it was okay. It really played with the idea that this guy started time traveling and then was lost in time and then was visiting his wife at different points in her life. I don't remember it in a lot of detail. I just remember vague things about it. I think it was okay. It was okay. Romantic movie. I was at 9:42. I should drink a little bit of water before going. Actually, I should eat my cherry before going live. Maraschino cherries. Yum. Okay, so far the search thing is Time Traveler's Wife, 2009 American romantic science fiction drama based on Audrey Niffinger's 2003 novel of the same name. There you go. Abigail, you love your romantic sci-fi. And why not? Strictly saying you're tipsy now. Going to be boring on Chen's stream. Right. Well, speaking of tipsy, I'm going to drink some water. Because I'm keeping it to tipsy tonight. I might get shit-faced. I might get shit-faced tomorrow. Who knows? Right. Some water. So yeah, do a stream tomorrow night. Oh, I think this is a funny thing. Drinking water tastes so nice at the moment because I think I've got a lot of really nice flavors embedded on my tongue. So when I drink water, it washes all these flavors over my tongue. That happened once. I was there's a place not far from where Abigail lives called the Bitters Lab, which is friggin' awesome. I fucking love that place. They have hundreds of sorts of bitters, lots of bar and cocktail equipment, and some very special liqueurs, vermouths, and spirits. Just very niche stuff. And barware, this glass. I mean, oh yeah, can you see if I put it up against the black? It's got this lacework etching on the glass. It's a fucking beautiful glass. I've got, this is a rocks or an old-fashioned glass. I've got a Nick and Nora and a martini glass with the same lacework etching on it. It's absolutely beautiful. And the big ice cube tray I use is from there too. They have great stuff. But I forget why I brought that up now. But it's a good shop. I love it. Oh, now I know why I brought it up. Washington. Okay, so they have hundreds of types of bitters. And they have this recommendation. They give you a little spoon like, hey, if you want to taste the year, because I was just smelling the bitters. They go, no, you should taste them. It's like, we'll give you this little plastic spoon and you, with a dropper in the bitters, you put a drop in and put it on your tongue. And bitters is such a strong flavor. And you have to do a couple of them and it completely overpowers my tongue. Like my tongue's just fucked and gives up and goes, no, those flavors were all too intense. We can no longer taste anything. I did that for a while. I put a couple of drops of 6 to 10 sorts of bitters on my tongue, and my tongue was just like, man, I fucking give up. But for the rest of that day, when I drank anything, whether it was water or like cola or whatever, it would mix with the bitters that was like still embedded on my tongue, and it was just amazing. It was really good. But yeah. Oh, right. Tommy, you love my support zombies stick magnet. One of my YouTube friends, an American YouTube friend, just sent it to me. They sent a whole bunch of stuff, American candies, a big plastic dog poo that my son and I still occasionally do pranks with one another, putting it in each other's beds. But this one, someone sent this to me in my post box. How quaint does this seem now? This is from The Shovel, a satirical Australian website. 2020 cancelled. How quaint does this sound now? After careful consideration, we've decided that it's no longer in the best interest of anyone involved to proceed with 2020. While we recognise that a lot of hard work's gone into preparing for 2020, if we're honest, it's turned into a bit of a shit show, and we feel it's best if we just call it off. We understand that some of you are looking forward to seeing what cruel and peculiar clusterfuck of a disaster 2020 would throw up next. But on balance, we believe it probably best to not find out. We'll instead provide ticket holders with a full refund of an exchange, start afresh with 2021 on Monday. Our plan is to deliver a more enjoyable year, similar to, say, 2016, which everyone thought was the absolute worst at the time, but in retrospect was a fucking walk in the park. See you next year. 2021 was so much worse than 2020. And this year could be worse fucking still. Safi, you want to see the plastic poo? I could probably get it. I think it's not far away. Oh, man. Strictly Sega, I love the zombie shuffle. It was a victim of its own success. I had to stop. I counted for every time I said bitters. I said it a lot. I did said it a lot. And by the way, the plastic poo is a fucking huge one. It's like, it's not done by a small dog. It's done by like a husky or a Saint Bernard. It's fucking huge. Okay, because Safa wants it. I'm going to get it. It's actually just in the next room. I can get it. Just hang on for a sec. No. So I started talking about this plastic poo. I just went to get it. But I won't. Yeah. All right. So, the fun thing about this plastic dog poo is it is simultaneously super fake looking, yet at the same time somehow horrifyingly real looking. Like, it's freaking huge. Like, anyone who knows how big my head is, that tells you how big it is. So it's like just like a huge plastic poo done by a very large dog. And particularly if you spray it with water so it looks wet, it just looks just grossly real. Now you've inspired me. My son's coming back from his mum's this weekend. I think I'll put this on his bed. And then the next day I'll wake up with it in my bed because he'll just be like, fuck you. Yes, Dr. Omega, 2016 fucking sucked. Yeah, that was the first year of the end times, definitely. Everything just got progressively worse. Safa, again, a friend sent it, an American YouTube friend. One Halloween, she sent me a bunch of, I was going to say a bunch of shit. She literally did. It was like a box you get from one of those courier companies. They said, we'll just put whatever you want in the box and we'll send it. It was mostly filled with American Halloween candy. And this was a while ago as well. I mean, like, this was God, I'll have to ask her if she remembers when she sent it because we're still in contact. I have to ask her if she remembers when she sent it. But it was like a box of candy with huge plastic shit in it. It is a bit too perfect, isn't it, Robot Alien? A bit too perfect. And yeah, Strictly Sega, 2016. That was when, yeah, all the celebs died and we thought it was bad. Tommy, you reckon the year 2000? Yeah. Yeah, 2016 is when it all went to shit, basically. And it just got progressively worse since then. I swear to God, all you younger folk, like my youth, I went through the 80s, early 90s, when we thought we were going to die in nuclear war and we somehow got past it. So, yeah, everything's better now. I absolutely did not see 2016 onwards just being a slide into shit. Just an absolute fucking horror show. So sorry about that, young people. I did not think that was going to happen. I personally have been both surprised and shocked by how fucked everything has been for the last few years. I literally never imagined things would be as shit as they are. Dicks Out for Harambe cracked me up so much. I thought that was fucking hilarious, actually, which shows you how easily amused I am that I found Dicks Out for Harambe to be quite humorous. Strictly saying you missed those. The most annoying things were infomercials. You just reminded me of Matt Groening, creator of The Simpsons. Before The Simpsons, he had a long-running newspaper comic in a variety of, it was in indie stuff. It was called Life in Hell. And it was basically like he'd moved to LA to make it big. He was still quite young when he was doing Life in Hell because it was pre-Simpsons. So it was, Life in Hell is from fucking the 80s. So, 30, 40 years ago. However long. Okay, now I'm going to look it up. Matt Groening, Life in Hell. Okay, so Life in Hell. Jesus Christ. Okay, so okay. Life in Hell started in the 70s, apparently ran to 2012. But I think the big time for Life in Hell was the 80s. So fucking 40 years ago. Okay, so Matt Groening was doing this thing 40 years ago, Life in Hell, which was a parody of how he was finding life in LA. And yes, you could say you've got one of the books, Childhood is Hell. They are funny and insightful and bleak as fuck. But I remember one of his, because the central characters in them were these rabbit characters. Binky was the main character, and his son was Bongo, I think. But anyway, one that you reminded me of that really stood out. Binky's in bed with his lady friends, and it's dark, but his eyes are open. And she goes, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you? You're always catastrophizing about shit. What is it? What's obsessing you now? Are you thinking about nuclear war? Are you thinking about pollution? What are you just obsessing about now that's going to end the world?" And he says, "Infotainment," and then closes his eyes, and then there's one black frame, and the next frame is her eyes open, where she goes, "He's right. Infotainment is just fucked." And yes, Tommy, Futurama, The Simpsons. It's got that Netflix thing, Disenchanted, which I've never been able to get into. It's kind of like, it's the animation in Disenchanted is beautiful. A lot of the storytelling and character development is really good. It's just not that funny. I think it doesn't quite work, mostly because it's not that funny. Safa, the first two seasons of The Simpsons was honestly kind of ordinary. From season 3 to about 8 was the golden age, and it was still pretty good for about 5 years after that, but it got kind of ordinary after that, and it's still fucking going. And Robot Alien, I agree. If your jokes rely on things about transgender people, it's not really fun. Here's the thing. I had to acknowledge two of my favorite jokes from movies were actually fucked. One was very whorephobic. Was basically suggesting being a sex worker was the worst thing possible, which is a really shitty attitude to have. And it was actually, the joke wasn't from a movie. It was told by Brian Molko from the band. What were they called? Oh God. Okay, I've had a couple of drinks and I'm forgetting basics like this band's name, very big in the 90s and noughties. Why did I remember his name and not his band's name? Every me, every you. And they're one of a number of people who've done a good version of Running Up That Hill. Honestly, if I open YouTube, it'll probably show up because I watch a lot of their music on YouTube. Running Up That Hill. Kate Bush, Meg Myers, Placebo. Oh my God, that took me so long to remember. Strictly Sega, you got it actually. Placebo. Okay, so Brian Molko from Placebo had this thing. It's like at their sort of peak, which I guess was in the early noughties. They got booked to do some heavy metal gig because they were sort of dark indie gothy stuff, and someone thought they'd work on this heavy metal festival, and they kind of didn't. The audience was incredibly hostile to them, and there's an interview with Brian Molko, he's talking about this was a bit of a disaster, and he got the shits with the audiences just booing them and being really aggressive. And he's between songs, he's like, "Shut the fuck up! Stop booing! I'm just up here doing my job. I don't come around when you're working and try to knock sailors' dicks out of your mouth." And when he said that, I thought that was like the funniest joke ever. But then it was like, oh, think about it for a while. It's like, that's actually really whorephobic and is basically suggesting being a sex worker is like the worst thing you can do, which is not cool. And the other one that I thought was funny is not transphobic. It was really bigoted towards intersex people. It's from a very old movie, like from the late 80s, called The Tall Guy, a British comedy, which was pretty funny. Jeff Goldblum was in it, and his nemesis was Rowan Atkinson. And at one point, when Rowan Atkinson's a dick to him, and as Rowan Atkinson leaves the room, Jeff Goldblum's throwing an insult at him, and he just goes, "I hope all your children have tiny dicks, including the girls." And I thought that was really funny for ages. And then you think about it for a while and goes like, that's hella fucking insulting to intersex people. And that's not something I want to be. I don't want to be a shithead to intersex people. But it's weird. You just think like, because it doesn't affect me, so I think it's funny. And then hopefully at one point you get the distance to reflect a bit and go, oh, actually, to find that funny relies on shitting all over someone who's already super marginalized and has thought against them. It's like, okay, yeah, no, I now feel suitably bad for thinking they were really funny jokes. Yeah, Robot Alien, anything that Seth MacFarlane done is usually picking on marginalized people. And yeah, Robot Alien, that joke could be seen as transphobic. Mostly it was like incredibly, it was specifically being super shitty to intersex people, because the joke is basically saying having intersex children is the worst thing that could happen to you, which is a super fucked thing to say. But it's kind of like when you're in a really privileged position and this shit doesn't affect you. But also, and I'm still guilty of this. I think like it's a generic thing when you're sick of misogynist people and stuff. You know, you make a joke about them compensating for their tiny dick. But you go, okay, that's actually kind of shit, because some people do have very small dicks, and that's not a reflection on their value as a person. And it's really shitty to make that a punchline of a joke. It's really shitty to make someone's physical condition the punchline of a joke. It's just fucked. See, okay, Tommy, here's the thing. The South Park guys like to pat themselves on the back, from what I've seen, saying, "Oh, we shit on everyone," but it's the false thing in that is saying shitting on the most marginalized, persecuted people in society is exactly the same as making fun of the most powerful people in society. And it just isn't. I think it was best summarized by Terry Pratchett. I'll paraphrase it because I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like, satire is about making fun of the powerful. If you are making fun of the marginalized and disadvantaged, that isn't satire, that's bullying. So, the way those South Park guys convince themselves, shitting all over the people who are already marginalized and disadvantaged, is exactly the same as making fun of the most powerful people. That's straight up bullshit, basically. Yes, Robot Alien. I'm also not a fan of TERFs. What is really funny, TERFs have got to the stage where they go, TERF is a slur. And I go, okay, first, TERF is only a slur in the same way as you horrible, bigoted, closed-minded piece of shit is a slur, in that I intend to slur you and you could just stop being a hideous, gross, disgusting, closed-minded, bigoted piece of shit, and then I wouldn't have to say anymore. Second is, the term was originally coined by TERFs themselves. They called themselves radical feminists, and they excluded trans people from the discourse. The acronym was their own initially, and they were so sure that they were right, they couldn't conceive with progressive people disagreeing with them. And eventually, progressive people went, "No, you're actually just a hateful fucking bigot." And they're like, "Oh, well, the thing that we used to say ourselves is now a slur." Thank you, Robert Alien. You looked it up. Satire is meant to ridicule power. If you're laughing at people who are hurting, it's not satire, it's bullying. Thank you so much for looking that up. I was super too lazy to do it. I get like that sometimes. Lazy. See, Dr. Abigail, you want to slow TERFs, you can't call them cunts in polite conversation. I just don't have polite conversations with TERFs. So it's like, fuck them. Fuck them. They fucking suck. And again, I'm older than you. I remember the 80s, second wave feminists, and they were actually the feminazis. And I get, because there was the modern TERFs spring out of my generation and older. So Gen X, modern TERFs spring out of Gen X and Boomer feminists, because I remember this in the 80s. There was a really overwhelming lack of understanding of trans issues from everyone, basically. But the feminists, particularly the radical feminists, they perceived trans women as being the same as drag queens, and they perceived drag queens as being insulting to women, not altogether without reason. And that mindset of trans women just being drag queens who are making fun of women took a lot of people a long time to get past it, and a lot of people did not ever get past it. But I, having lived through it, I feel that's the birth of the modern trans movement. The Boomer and Gen X feminists who in the 80s, through lack of understanding, didn't differentiate between trans women and drag queens who were literally parodying women. Dr. Ray, to have the privilege to yell and scream, call people cunts, not be perceived crazy. Yeah. Okay. Cishet white man, I kind of don't care who thinks I'm crazy, which is why I've always done the ranty stuff. Strick can say the Birdcage, which I think was a stage play first. I literally haven't seen the movie since it came out. I don't think. It's a movie's got Robin Williams and who's not queer as far as I know, and I've forgotten the actor's name who's super queer, and they're playing a gay couple, and they have a gay housekeeper butler, and it all gets very complicated with them. I don't know, having a family member who's a conservative anti-gay politician, but I remember it being quite fun. I feel like I should go back and watch it again, because it's one of those things is going, how well did that age? Because I think the stage play, The Birdcage, was written by a gay man, I think. But then again, gay men in the 80s and 90s, very different to gay and queer men now. That's right. Strictly Sega, thank you. It was based on a French film, La Cage aux Folles. Yes. Oh shit, I'd forgotten La Cage aux Folles. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Abigail. Nathan Lane. And Tommy, he's in Austin Powers Goldmember. He's also in a series that Mrs. Angry and I are watching at the moment, The Gilded Age, which is made by the same people who made what was that British one with the fucking toffs at the early 20th century in their country estate? Fucking hell, I need to go to bed because my fucking brain stopped working. Something House, something Mount. Oh, what the fuck? Anyway, The Gilded Age is set in the early 20th century in the US, and it's a clash between the nouveau riche and the old money in New York. Very entertaining. And Nathan Lane's in that, and he's playing this Southern dandy who's like the representative of the most powerful old money family in New York. He's very good in the Gilded Age. Downton Abbey, for fuck's sake. I was going house, manor. No, it was an abbey. Downton Abbey. Alexander, you got it before I thought of it, but because of the huge delay and when I see any comments, I thought of it on my own. Yes, but thank you, Alexander. Yes, so the same people behind Downton Abbey are behind The Gilded Age. Mrs. Anger and I quite enjoying that. Nathan Lane's in that. He's married in that, but I think it's the whole thing of, yeah, that's a marriage of convenience. His wife is a beard type of thing, because he's camp as fuck in The Gilded Age. But yeah, so that's on Prime. We're enjoying that. What did we watch this week? So because I actually, being isolated for a week, I got behind in watching the stuff, watching Mrs. Angry. So we caught up on Star Trek Discovery. Mildly satisfying resolution to this season of Star Trek Discovery. Now watching Picard, which I'm into so far. Last night we had comedy night. We watched a couple of episodes of the new Taika Waititi comedy, Our Flag Means Death, with campy pirates. Watched a couple of episodes of Wellington Paranormal on SBS, and watched some Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on, which is also on Prime. But yeah, the Gilded Age is only coming out one episode a week, so I think we're up to date with the Gilded Age. Yeah, so strictly saying I've watched the most recent episode of Picard, I think, but please don't say any spoilers in case someone hasn't watched it. And that's why the most detailed thing I was willing to say about Star Trek Discovery is I thought the resolution was mildly satisfying. It's mildly frustrating, like the super smart guy who kept being wrong all the fucking time. It's like, yes, you're trying to do this storyline where people who have been subjected to massive trauma can make very bad decisions. But it's like, oh, come on. This guy's obviously a piece of shit. He's obviously a self-serving piece of shit. And he keeps being wrong. He keeps being fucking wrong. Why the fuck is Book, our guy, sticking with him when he's obviously a self-serving, at least borderline sociopathic piece of shit, and he's also consistently wrong, for fuck's sake? You know, the fact that Book kept going along with him for so long was like, really? I know you're doing this whole thing of people in trauma make bad decisions, and the character Book had suffered the worst trauma imaginable, but it was just like, nah. The fact that people would let this guy, who is so clearly self-serving, so clearly a piece of shit, and so clearly regularly wrong, I don't know. It grated a bit. That was the only bit in that season that grated. Oh, see, Dr. Abigail, I can't watch Dr. Pimple Popper. AZ fucking loves that shit. Pimples and cysts and bad skin conditions and I'm just like, nope. Okay, I watched a couple of those things where just like a bucket load of pus gets squeezed out of someone, and I'm just like, nope. I choose not to watch this because it's fucking gross, and there's obviously an audience for it. But not me. Now I watched a few bits, and it's just like, nope. Because it's amazing how much pus humans can store. People get this swelling thing on them, and they ignore it for ages, and then fucking hell, they finally get it done, and like a bucket load of pus comes out. It's absolutely fucking freakish what weird fucked up shit the human body does. It's fucking freakish. Dr. Abigail, you make food, sit down, watch medical shows, pimple popping, ASMR. Yeah, no, AZ fucking loves that. And it's probably because of all the weird extreme medical stuff he's gone through. He fucking loves it. I'm just like, no, yawn. Okay, that yawn is probably my body saying, you should go to bed. Okay, it's only 4 hours. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go upset. Look, again, it's not like I really need to be high functioning for work. Like, no one's going to fucking see me. I don't have any fucking meetings. I know people might try and get me online and just go, what are you doing? I'm just like, I'm fine. I'm here. I'm fucking functioning. But yes, Safa, tomorrow night is party night. So if I fucking chill now, if I step away from tonight before I get absolutely, I don't know if I'm even half Tim Smithed. I could switch it to half Daniel Johnson because Daniel Johnson in his recent accident, I think basically had the same blood alcohol reading as Tim Smith, but it doesn't rhyme. Half Tim Smithed, half pissed. You know, it's better. Yes, see, that's what I have to. That's basically what I have to do at work. Safa, you're on the money there. The Homer, the dipping bird to hit the button on my keyboard that says I'm still there. That's basically the level of engagement I need at work tomorrow. Because I actually got a bunch of shit out of the way today, so I fucking accomplished really fucking boring brain leak out the ears shit. I did that today. So I don't know. Tomorrow I'll do something else. We'll see. We'll see what that is. But thank you, one and all, for joining. You have, as always, been wonderful. I absolutely enjoyed your company. We'll do a party night tomorrow night. We'll do Angry Bunch. We'll do Hangouts. Yeah, I only got half pissed tonight. I might get fucking smashed tomorrow. Who knows? Again, not to the. Again, I'm trying to be careful to never again do the thing where I just lose consciousness. But I also think, although I did that like twice in a month, where I just wandered off camera and fell asleep for a couple of hours and left other people on here to run things, I think it was classy that I did that and didn't fall asleep on camera. So fuck it. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Strictly Sega. Thank you, everyone. So I feel like I might get kind of smashed tomorrow, but not pass out. You know, that magical middle space where you're like, yay, everything's great because I'm super fucking drunk and everything's cool. So a little bit more drunk than I am now. I'm just tipsy now. We'll see what tomorrow brings. But you all take care of yourselves. If you're around tomorrow night, love to see you again. But whatever you're doing, I hope you're doing well.